So NextGen, what is NextGen? Well, I thought this is about NextGen. NextGen isn't just about copper and the fibre and the electronics. It's about the next generation of people coming into our lives, many of us with children. At the moment, they are going to create a very different economic force in the world. The road is long and not nearly as well clearly defined as this at the moment. Into the sunset, which is apparently fibre at the other end of it, but we're not quite sure at the moment where it's going. And the show, well, that's the show.
So welcome to this conference, and welcome, so that those of you who don't know it, to Somerset. In extending broadband to the final third, and in Somerset that means nearly 70% of our businesses, there are three key players, quasi-monopolies I suppose you might say, that will make the difference as to whether we're successful in providing sensible broadband, as I call it. The government may not be speaking here today, but last week the new coalition recognised the quasi-monopolistic situation of one of those key players when it announced, "We will introduce measures to ensure the rapid rollout of super-fast broadband across the country. We will ensure that BT and other infrastructure providers allow the use of their assets to deliver such broadband, particularly in remote areas and at the same time as in more populated areas."
I'm not going to be giving you the answer because we don't yet have it. We are all going to be working on this together, and I think the point that you were just making about the partnership, I think is very much the theme and thread of what we're doing. We're looking for partnership, we're looking for ways of working together, as there's a number of significant issues as a region, for the people that live here, for the communities and for the businesses. And really, therefore, as a region, next generation access and broadband are absolutely critical. Critical in terms of enabling us to overcome the challenges of being a peripheral region, but also in terms of actually looking at how we can maximise and improve our low carbon position, our resource efficiency, how our businesses can become more successful and have more profits, how the places, the towns and the communities can be developed and can improve and become prosperous and have good places to live. And lastly, for those pockets of deprivation that we have, the so-so areas, where we can improve those.
I also want to mention this new European digital agenda, just released last week under the heading of the new EU Commission of Mrs. Nelly Kroes from the Netherlands. And she has high targets. She talks about 30 megabits and 2020, some time to go, and 50% should be 100 megabits or more. And of course they have programs, you know, for rural areas, but not also for city areas to get some money. And you might know that Dutch people, they admire the UK. So make sure you contact this lady and say, well, I'm from the UK, I need some money.
I'm Helen Heanes, I'm Senior Economic Development Officer at Somerset County Council. I'm here to learn more about next generation access to broadband, particularly what's happening in the South West. I went to one of these events last year in Basingstoke. It's good to see how much things have progressed since last year. Yeah, really positive. Looking forward to hearing more this afternoon.
4 minutes, 47 minutes, 7 hours. Forget about this.
Amsterdam's got one of the world's most ambitious next generation broadband projects. It's called CityNet, and the aim is to bring high-speed broadband, ultra-fast broadband through fibre optic cables to every home in the city, about 400,000 homes over the next 5 years. Now it's already underway in this area, Zeeburg, a Docklands regeneration area, And it's not just bringing that very fast broadband to the 40,000 or so homes around here, it's also going on to this boat.
You can always get broadband anywhere. It's all about money. And the advantage of the wireless solution is it has a low capex. The capex cost is minimal, and it can be done by small SME operators like myself and like others. So wireless has a low capex. It has a higher OPEX, and also you don't have the beautiful terabit capacity that fibre gives. So fibre may be the ideal long term, but short term, if you want to get broadband to the farmers and the rural communities on Exmoor and in Bodmin and all these other really remote places, places where they've been told they will never, ever get broadband, the only solution in town at the moment is wireless.
We know that many people outside the town have got a very poor access to broadband and a very irregular access. So we would like to get the community, businesses and the local council talking together about how we could improve that provision for everybody. And so we would like to speak to the experts that we've met today in further detail so we can find out what is appropriate in what areas and where we might go for funding.
Connecting Somerset has been established for a few years. It is a successful partnership project. It really tries to raise the technology game in our area. It's about supporting businesses, it's about communities as well. We've had support from SWERDA, from the European Union, and campaigning for better broadband. We've got a strong focus right now on infrastructure, particularly next generation access. As we've heard already, particularly from Chris Garcia and others, in a rural area, next generation broadband is absolutely vital to the local economy. We do have lots of businesses in rural areas, and each of them has the same broadband requirement as businesses in towns and cities. That rural economy needs those thriving businesses. Those businesses need the best broadband possible. And connectivity in terms of communities is also vital for inclusion, making sure that our people who live in villages and in farmlands, remote, their children can actually do their homework from home on the same sort of par as other people. So there's still a lot to do. It will still be a very long time before that universal access of 2 megabits per second in Somerset. Chris said this morning that 21% of Somerset will have a problem with that 2 megabits per second. 21% of 500,000 people is quite a lot of people.
BT is going to be investing its own money, as it announced in the previous year, to actually extend our fibre delivery in the UK out to 2/3 of UK premises by 2015. We'd already made a commitment that we were going to spend £1.5 billion to roll out to 40% of the country by 2012, by the Olympics in 2012. And really we've already started on this journey. So by this summer, we'd already passed 1.5 million premises across the UK. We are enabling exchanges across the country, and those announcements have been made locally and nationally about where we're going. There's very detailed announcements about where those exchanges are and where we're going in this first round of announcements. So we're roughly through that halfway through that first 40% of announcements of where we're going to enable fibre access in those exchanges in the UK. And we're going to deploy our substantial investment and existing capability in fibre to roll that out as quickly as possible using our engineering force that we already have in OpenReach, which is widely available to the industry as well.